Hi, Chris Johnson, CEO of the Urban Taskforce. We've put out another publication, one of our Urban Ideas magazines, on the issue of density and infrastructure. We got a very good run in the Daily Telegraph called All Aboard for Train to Fix Housing Crisis. So here's the Daily Telegraph coverage, quite a big full-page article, and the issue is exactly the issue we wanted to get across: train and housing. Infrastructure and density, connecting these two. So what Sydney needs with our congestion at the moment is some sort of very simple circular train, rapid transit, metro type system, but the crucial issue is that's where all the development must go. So good that this is getting picked up by people like the Daily Telegraph and giving it a very good run indeed. Here is the actual publication. And you can see quite a beautiful plan on the front, done by Genevieve Blanchette from Architectus, the architects and planners who've worked with us on this exercise. So what they've developed is this approach that we could take a circular metro system around the whole of Sydney. This is a bit like the London Circle Line, which links the perimeters, the outer-lying areas of the city into one single system. So I think it's been done very cleverly. The approach is to start from Rouse Hill and to move from Rouse Hill, which is where the government's already building a metro line, down to Epping, and then that Epping line will go to Chatswood. The government's announced that they will then take this metro line and take it under the harbour and around to Bankstown, out in the beginning of the western area. We're saying don't stop at Bankstown, go on to Liverpool, not very far away. If we're going to Liverpool, why don't we just go a little bit further to the new Badgerys Creek Airport? If you're going to Badgerys Creek Airport, you're getting close then to Penrith, which needs to be linked in, and you close the loop back to Rouse Hill. We're also saying in this publication that there needs to also be a real upgrade of the central spine of our transport system. That is linking Penrith to Parramatta to the City of Sydney. At the moment, this is the most congested line in the whole system. If we can get a rapid transit system happening there and try to relate that to where development occurs, it would be the perfect thing. Now, what we've done in this, we've indicated there are 3 steps to how Sydney could get this working. Step 1 is a long-term metro circle line. That's the one I've talked about going right around. Step 2, add light rail loops. So as well as the circle line, we would then have the central line. Then on the step 2, we add these loops coming out from the various centres of light rail. What this does is reinforces those centres as places for jobs and places where a real urban active centre can occur. We've then said step 3, add housing density. So we sprinkle around the light rail and around those light rail loops new housing density and around the centres that we've defined with the metro areas. So it's really setting up a fundamental system. There's a big picture view of this, an aerial view looking out over Sydney, where you can see both the circular line, the central line and the light rail loops, and the map is quite powerful, I think, in positioning it in this sort of way. We've gone into detail on Parramatta, and you can see the various rail loops coming out from Parramatta. We've gone into detail on Penrith, and you can see the various loops coming out from Penrith. We've also suggested that a Liverpool light rail could come out of Liverpool to Leppington and ultimately continue down to Campbelltown. But this light rail loop could pick up a number of centres, and here's an aerial view that looks out across Sydney where you can see just how that comes into play. But we've also taken this a bit further by looking at the urban density along Anzac Parade. Here's the plan just showing how the density could come along Anzac Parade. The old tram used to go along there. There's the tram that used to come along this area. And it could go right out to La Perouse, loop back So the loop carries through East Gardens, which is a major shopping centre and a major area where a lot of new development is occurring. So you want to connect to East Garden and back up the loop and continue back into the city. Here's an aerial view, just looking down on this area, showing how the loop can carry round through East Gardens and back up again. Importantly though, we need new development along that loop. The final one is Botany Bay. Brighton Le Sands, we think there's a new hotspot we could get here. Light rail, as you can see on this plan, could continue along the Grand Parade, picking up the various centres. This could be similar to the French Riviera. Here's a view of the French Riviera where people flock to these areas. It's got apartments looking out over the water. The Botany Bay, Brighton Le Sands area, and here's an image of what this could look like, is an area where we could really get major new development, 10,000 or so new apartments, a whole bustling lifestyle, cafes, restaurants, shopping areas, and a light rail system that connected it back to the major rail system. So the whole message here was linking density and infrastructure.